Bada bing, bada boom. You know what it is. Geeks are back on the scene. We got another picks and predictions video. We are running it through. We got UFC Fight Night, Song Yadong versus Ricky Simone, a bantamweight scrap. Stakes are on the line. These guys are both fighting for a high contending spot. Let's get into it though. Prelims, first fight of the night, ripping off the card. Haley Cohen, 7-2. She was supposed to fight like two other occasions, and the fights just keep getting canceled. She's back in there. UFC usually isn't that nice, just throwing girls, right back in after canceled bouts. Usually you have to suffer, wait the months or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. They really want to get her in there. Haley Cohen is fighting Jamie Lynn Horth. She is a 5-0 prospect. I'm gonna take Haley Cohen in this one, just because UFC keeps booking her. I don't know why. I think they like her. They got her a different opponent, all that kind of stuff. I like her just well-roundedness. I think that 7-2, she'll have the experience advantage. She's taking her L's. I'm taking Haley Cohen on a coin flip. Goosey, what do you got?
This one, I mean, I've seen Haley Cohen a couple fights. She had the Contender Series, so I am more familiar with her. Hey, Jamie Lynn Horth, on the other hand, all of her clips are just deep in the searches of YouTube. You might find a few clips, a few highlights. You're not finding a whole fight. Um, the sharps have been hitting Jamie Lynn Horth. I will say that. She started as a slight underdog, minus 140 favorite right now. She's been getting hit hard. Maybe it's just her resume. I see she has 2 amateur wins over Lupita Godinez. That's going to be her most notable opponent she's fought. Lupita Godinez at that point in her career, very green to the game. She had more losses than that on her record in the amateurs. But I think similar styles to Haley Cohen, that kind of 1-2s on the feet and then trying to get the fight to the ground. Jamie Lynn Horth might have the recipe here, so I'm gonna take a shot at the dark horse.
Let's go. Taking the new gal 5-0. What do you got, Dano?
So I'm gonna ride with the Jamie Lynn Horth girl. Not a huge fan of what Cowan's been doing. She's been getting rescheduled in a very short amount of time, cutting weight, recutting weight. And the UFC brought in this new girl, brand new girl, Jamie Lynn Horth. So I think they might be a little over Cowan at this point. So I'm riding with Horth in this one.
Let's go. We're moving into the next one. We got a bantamweight scrap. We got Brian the Boom Kelleher, 24-14, coming out against Journey Newson, 10-4. This is a battle of the vets right here, and it's weird to say that about Journey Newson because he's only 10-4, but he's been in the game a decent amount of time. Brian Kelleher is so hit or miss, man. He's got that guillotine that always gets us. It's so Furta, but it just doesn't land, as accurately as we'd like. I think he'll probably get a good hold of Journey Newson in this fight a couple times, maybe even get a couple scares. But I think Journey Newson's going to come out and put the pace on Brian Kelleher. That's just my overall take. Looking at this, it's just power versus going to be that quickness and that pace. So look for Journey Newsom to just add the volume up on Kelleher and try to avoid that big pop. Even when he shoots a takedown, he does like to mix it up. He's going to watch out for that gilly. So just like every other Brian Kelleher fight, a whole bunch of scares and crazy moments, but he'll end up losing. What do you got, Dano?
I'm riding with Journey Newsom as well. Like you were saying, Kelleher, he's been around. He's got a lot of miles on him. Even though this is a fight between two, a little bit older guys, Kelleher's definitely the one with more wear and tear. So I'm gonna ride with Newsom. Thing with Kelleher, he's been getting dominated in his last couple of fights. And when I think of this fight, like you were saying, CEO, I think Newsom will put the pressure on him. And then, just like in a figurative sense, I don't see Kelleher really planting and firing back. I kind of just see him keep backpedaling, and Newsom just walking him down. I got Newsom 30-27 in this one. Should be pretty decisive, in my opinion.
Tapology completely against us. Got 80% on Kelleher, 20% on Newsom. What do you got, Goosey? We're fading the public here.
We're gonna sweep on a fade of the public because I'm picking Journey Newsom. I was surprised to see that he was an underdog and he opened at like plus 170. Since then, he's like plus 120, plus 115. So the sharps are hitting it, whether the public is fading him or not. The sharps are on Newsom, and I just think that maybe prime Brian Boom Kelleher would have something for this matchup, be a favorite here. But I think where we're at in his career, Journey Newsom's been putting some good performances together. He gets the grappling going. And a lot of times Kelleher's going for that guillotine because he's getting taken down, So if he starts getting taken down, he can't find that neck. I think Journey Newsom decision is going to be the play here.
Okay. Hell yeah. We're moving into the next boot here. After sweeping the public fade, we got another female boot at bantamweight. Stephanie Egger, 8-3, coming out against Irina Alexeva, 4-1. I will take the over. Dano, what do you got?
I'm riding with Stephanie Egger. I think this Irene chick has got a little bit of overhype to her. I know she calls herself some Ronda Rousey. Don't love that. I think Stephanie Egger is a pretty tried and true vet, and someone coming in, tooting their own horn. I think Egger's not a bad opponent to stop that hype train.
Fair enough. Goosey, what do you got?
Looking at the Russian Ronda here, as Irina Alexeva calls herself, I'm going to pick Stephanie Egger. Definitely more experience, that plays a lot in women's MMA. I think she's going to have a good recipe. The Russian Ronda lost 2 fights ago to an 8-6-2 opponent. That was in 2019. Her next fight was in 2021. So she has had 2 fights in the last 4 years. But yeah, so I'm going to pick Stephanie Egger. I think that she probably wins by decision.
Fair enough. That ring activity definitely plays a factor. We're going to see if the Russian Ronda can live up to the hype. Let's get into the next one. We got a welterweight scrap here. This is a freaking scrap, dude. We got Josh Quinlan, 6-0, coming out against Trey Waters, 7-1. Dude, Josh Quinlan, the juicer. I mean, this guy's been pumping it up. Got the notice. I mean, it's clear as day. But he's back, and he still throws absolute heat. And this guy is like a ninja on the feet. Not a guy you want to stand with for long. Trey Waters, on the other hand, kind of the same thing, but a lot more calculated in the way that he fights. He likes to kind of stalk forward, move like he doesn't bounce around. Like that's going to be the whole big difference here. Is Trey Waters is going to be the much more calm guy in this matchup, and Quinlan's going to be kind of jumping, doing his whole thing. A lot of movement, a lot of big strikes coming in and out. I do think Josh Quinlan's going to get this done, just because we've seen Trey Waters, lose on the big stage right here. So until he can get that job done, I'm not going to buy it. I know he just got a big knockout in a Fury main event on the regional scene. It was epic. Got to go watch that. Go check that out. Trey Waters' last knockout. But Josh Quinlan does the same kind of shit. And the way he hits guys and the way that they react, it's just a little bit different. So I'm going to trust Josh Quinlan to really put it on him in this matchup where they're just going to be throwing heat back and forth. These guys are going to scrap. Goosey, what do you got?
All right, so 2022, my worst pick of the year was Bobby Witt against Josh Quinlan. Ended up, he just got totally splattered. I'm fading Quinlan again. I think Trey Waters is going to be able to keep it at range. I like his striking. All right, he is 7-1. That only loss is to Gabriel Bonfim. It was a very entertaining fight on the Contender Series. Worth going back and watching it. As we know, Gabriel Bonfim turned around and made light work of Munir Lazez, which is no easy task. I got respect for Trey Waters from that. I think that Quinlan, he made me look bad. I still think he's a little overrated. All right, that left hook, Bobby Witt ran into it, So I think Trey Waters, pretty calculated striker, can hold his own in the clinch, and I don't think Quinlan's trying to deploy a grappling game plan here. I'm picking Trey Waters.
Dano, what do you got?
I'm riding with Quinlan too, but it's a little more strategic than just I think Quinlan's better than Trey Waters because I feel like this is a very even fight. But like you were saying, CEO, Trey Waters was just in a war very recently. Um, Quinlan's opponent fell out. They look for someone. This is a good opportunity for Waters to enter the UFC, but after a war like that, going up against someone who hits as hard as Quinlan does, and like you were saying, is kind of ninja-like in the octagon, very technical, very smooth with his striking. I feel like it might not be a knockout, but I think Quinlan will have enough to get a victory in this one.
Fair enough. Let's move into the next one. We got a flyweight scrap. It's Charles Johnson, 13-4, coming out against Cody Durden, public enemy number 1, 14-4-1. Dude, I think Cody Durden's funny, bro. I think he's a funny ass like character. Charles Johnson, he's pretty damn good. But I was really impressed at his debut when he came out against Makayev and like didn't get put away and like was grappling with him. But then, had to take a step back after that last performance. Because it was close, man. I you know how I feel about my boy Zalgas. You know how I feel. That's my boy. And I think that he lost that fight. So this one's going to be kind of the same kind of thing. Cody Durden, not as good in the feet as Zalgas, but he can definitely wrestle. So, man, this is really a coin flip fight, but I'm going to take Durden in this one just to kind of grind it out. But I could easily see him getting hit with some shit. So, like I said, this one's so tough for me. I'm not confident, but I'm going to lean Durden just on his wrestling. What do you got, Dano?
I'm gonna back our boy Fish here, who I know Fish loves Charles Johnson. I'm gonna ride with Charles Johnson. I love his activity that he's been putting on for the UFC. And I was a little bit worried about the wrestling at first, but then Zalgas is a pretty damn good wrestler himself, and Charles Johnson showed good takedown defense in that one. He's got to be working on the takedown defense for this upcoming fight with Durden. I love Johnson on the feet. He might be a little slower or a little, you know, less pull of the trigger than we'd like. But someone against Durden, I feel like if you shove a couple takedowns, he'll just kind of be sitting like a fish in a barrel. So I'm gonna ride with Charles Johnson. Not too confident, but I do like him in this one.
Yeah. It was kind of like his last fight where he's like a heavy favorite, and it's like, he should win this, and it's close as shit. What do you got, Goosey?
Taking Charles Johnson. Off rip, I was looking at Cody Durden. I kind of was feeling it, but then I'm sticking with my gut. I'm going Charles Johnson here. I think he has very good grappling defense. He stops takedowns pretty well. He gets back to his feet. We've seen it with Makayev. We've seen it with Zalgas. Ode Osborne got him to the ground, but he wasn't able to keep him there. He wasn't able to do much. He took that Ode Osborne fight on very short notice. I think that he will have a better gas tank this time, and he even outlasted Ode in that fight. He should have won rounds 2 and 3, I think. But after Zalgas kind of got robbed of a dub, what goes around comes around. Durden, on the other hand, he's going to need to get the fight to the ground. I think if it's stuck on the feet, he's going to get pieced up. Charles Johnson doesn't have the best power, but I do think he'll be able to keep it on the feet, keep this fight where he wants it. And this one's interesting because there is a little bit of bad blood there. I've seen these two on social media going back and forth a little bit. Durden definitely going to play the villain role here, but I'm picking Charles Johnson, the energy.
Let's go. Moving into the next one, we got a heavyweight scrap. This is the featured prelim boot. Martin Boudet, 11-1, coming out against Jake Collier, 13-8. This one's tough. These boys are so unpredictable, bro. I'm gonna take Boudet just because he should win, but man, dude, these guys both, they gas, they get sloppy. I mean, anything can happen in this matchup. I'm just gonna lean Boudet, but I'm staying away from this. Dana, what do you got?
I'm all over Boudet in this one. I feel like, they see something in Boudet. We always talk about UFC setting stuff up or UFC trying to get fighters where they want them. And Boudet in his last fight, he got a robbery victory. And Collier, I would say, is definitely on the downslide. Collier looked good in his last fight, but gassed out real quick. If they want to give a robbery decision to Boudet, I feel like, they want to get him up in the ranks. This is a good matchup for him. I feel like they know it's a good matchup for him. Because Boudet can go 3 rounds. It might not be full pace 3 rounds, but he can go all 3 rounds. And we've seen Jake Collier again and again gas even after the first couple minutes. So I'm gonna ride with Boudet. Don't know how he will get it done because it could be an old-fashioned heavyweight slobber knocker. But I like him a lot in this one.
Goosey.
Going Collier. I think the prototype is better on the feet. I don't really see him getting it to the ground, but he would be a better grappler. He just needs to not gas out. Boudet, very bad robbery. His last fight against Lucas Bresky. The guy's not that good. Okay. I think Collier's a lot better than that, especially striking. And Collier can win 2 rounds here. I think 29-28 decision, Jake Collier. It's going to be the move for me. And that's that.
That's that. That's the prelims too. Wrapping that up. Thanks for tuning in. Drop a sub, drop a like, drop a comment. Hit us on IG, Twitter, TikTok. You know what it is. Let's go. Next video is the main card.